domination. That is what we as viewers have been seeing in these first 2 games of the Thunder versus Wolves series, with the Thunder winning by double digits in both games, and a big reason for it has been this defense. So today we're going to get into the absolute domination that this team has been showing. And is there really any chance that this will stop, at least in this series? And the answer most likely is probably not. So let's get right into this suffocating defense and how it might have just punched their ticket to the NBA Finals. The Thunder have generated 31 total turnovers between the first 2 games of action, which is about 15 a game. If this is going to remain a trend, Minnesota might as well just stay home. This series is over. Let's just look at something like this. J-Dub does a great job absorbing the contact from Randall, but forcing him to regather, allowing Lou Dort to then poke at the ball, and then you force a jump ball. So at that point, there's a turnover, right? And even just look at some of these actions. SGA is going to calm down. They go for Randall, get stuck going out of bounds. That's an uncomfortable pass you created. Then Dante throws just a horrible entry pass, right? They try and get out to the Randall outside hand, but SGA, since he's able to sit down here, they can just go, oh, okay, I'm gonna take this real quick, and then go. These turnovers that have been generated have been deadly. Like, this team in points off of turnovers has been nothing short of remarkable. I don't know what else to say other than what this team is doing defensively. I have no reason to believe that they can stop. Like, why would this change? The way that the Thunder play, there is no reason to believe that this would change whatsoever. You get moments like this, which I think is interesting because the Wolves, they basically are trying to help Randall be a facilitator, right? So they do the pass right this time. Lou Dort immediately bum rushes from Anthony Edwards, swipes it down, keeps it in bounds, and then you get to keep going. Basically, they are not allowing Julius Randle to become comfortable as a playmaker or a scorer, which is going to then hurt this team even more. And then you get to the other end and there's an and one. This Oklahoma City defense has been remarkable, and we need to get into the now MVP in his play, SGA. SGA has returned to form. The struggles at times in game 1 were apparent, but I think now again, SGA has shown a level of comfort, does a beautiful job just getting right by Ant, right? Ant comes over to help, flashes. SGA sees that he's giving up that outside shoulder and is able to just drive. McDaniels comes over too late, so he gets the bank off the glass. Now you have someone little like Dante DiVincenzo on, which I don't understand what the point of this was. McDaniels probably should have come over earlier, but he basically is able to just get the bump, again, use the glass to his advantage. SGA, I think, has really just like, ever since the Denver series and that zone, and when he adapted to that zone, I think it's really helped his basketball IQ and just his shot selection and everything, that he's just gotten more aggressive. He's figuring out how to get to his spots better. The Wolves aren't really throwing any crazy bodies at him, because when they do get McDaniels on him, he does a really good job of initiating and drawing contact. And then at that point, he's able to sprinkle in the 3-ball, right? Because he has been hitting those middies. You have to respect that mid-range game. And I love this action here. You get iHeart right now. Jaden McDaniels is at your side, and then Rudy's there. So what's important is he keeps McDaniel on his side for the entirety of the action. Again, just look, Hartenstein gets the screen just enough so now he's on the side. Goes for the pull-up, he's not in front of him still. So there's really not a lot of contest there. He just gets an open pull-up, which I think is really important because, again, during the Denver series, he was seeing 3 to 4 bodies just come over. And now that Rudy's out, right, because you're trying to get floor spacing, you're trying to get a shooter, SGA basically goes, this is all mine. Ant fights over the screen. Dante's there, doesn't really do anything. Randall goes to get his hand in, and Naz Reid, and he can just go right to the rim and get the free bucket. SGA, I think, as a scorer, has really broken through. And I think we're now being reminded of why he was the regular season MVP. And I think deservedly so, by the way. Then we got to get into, honestly, I think his playmaking has been important for this series as well. One of the best parts about SGA as a playmaker has been the way he's able to use his bigs. So again, he gets Hartenstein, McDaniels comes over, Rudy, is still in that sort of drop, and he's able to hit Hartenstein, who's rolling into that, it's ugly, but it's an effective float. Does a great job cutting through, immediately recognizes that Lou Dort's open. Now, obviously, he's not the most consistent three-point creator, but again, the idea still is you want to get your shooters into rhythm, and you want to do it early. So now you get Caruso on the action. And again, I just love the way they're using the slip screens, right? Because Caruso doesn't really set the screen. He kind of does, but they just sort of, I don't know why, but Minnesota just sort of accepts the switch and then just perfectly bounce passes. McDaniels tries to cover, Casey Wallace doesn't want a wide open shooter. I think the way that Shea has manipulated this defense, both as a scorer and as a passer and playmaker, I think in conjunction with what has just been a dominating defensive performance as a team, I think it's unstoppable. And then we got to talk about one of my favorite players who these playoffs have been, a little hit and miss, but my man J-Dub has finally had some consistency since that first round, and we got to get into it with this series. Jalen Williams has seemingly returned to form with this series. We're in that Nuggets series. Oh, goodness gracious, as a J-Dub fan, it was hard to watch. That boy was struggling. But now, when you even just look at the stats of this series, he just looks so much better, and I just love the shot selection, right? Rudy isn't able to fully come up onto him, so he's able to get that pull into the midi. And that's what I've been loving. Again, it's just he's fixing the shot selection. In the Denver series, there's just a lot of poor shots that he's settling for and trying to take and force. And if J-Dub and SGA are hitting like they are, I don't know, honestly, how Minnesota wins a game in this series. I'm not saying it's going to be a sweep because I do think, they'll win one, maybe two. This team's been dominating, man. Just look at this action. Wallace comes over, sets the screen. Now you got Nikhil on him. He uses the frame difference and just pulls. Like, when J-Dub is hitting, this team's unstoppable. I genuinely believe that. Like, when he has it going, teams have to respect him, like, in a whole different way because he'll consistently pull up that three. He'll consistently do that pull-up midi. Things are changing, and J-Dub's playing aggressive, which is important too, right? Because it's not just, okay, let's just stop Shea from being the playmaker. No, J-Dub's going to make you pay. Again, I love that he's willing to go down, into the paint against Rudy, but does a good job of forcing Rudy to remember he's got to be at protecting that rim. So he then is able to go, okay, let me step back and get this right here. Or he'll do something like this where he uses that extra bit of burst and momentum he can get on Rudy, and he'll drive straight to the rim. And again, this is important. I love this fake pass, right? Because now Nas committed and he's stuck. Ant is still over there. Now you just have McDaniels, and again, just uses his frame to completely get McDaniels out of the way. And I think, quite frankly, this OKC team is just, it's domination, man. It really is. Like, I can't say it enough. This series does not feel like it's going to ever become close. While I'm not guaranteeing that this series is over, is going to result in a sweep, this kind of domination that we're seeing right now is what everyone sort of expected from the Thunder coming into the playoffs. This is a domination where an opposing offense just cannot get anything generated consistently. And then their transition offense is remarkable. And then at that point, SGA is giving you the scoring punch and J-Dub's making you respect him. And then at that point, what can you even do to stop them? So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this series over for you? Do you think that this series might just be cooked? Or do you think Minnesota and Chris Finch and Ant, do they have the adjustments necessary to really stop these turnovers and get the offense going? As always, guys, this was Mr. No Hoops. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.